The warning reached Earth 6 months too late. That was how long it took before the deep space relays realized the UEE's Pathfinder had gone silent. By then, the ship and its 1,023 passengers had been missing for half a year, vanished somewhere in the endless dark between stars. Ambassador Chen stood within the Galactic Council chamber, a hall so immense it made her feel microscopic. Above her, the holographic visages of 400 species shimmered in their assigned spheres. Some had scales, others wings, some were luminous clouds bound by containment fields. Yet every gaze upon her shared the same expression: disinterest. The United Earth vessel Pathfinder disappeared in the outer veil sector. Chen began, her voice calm, though fury simmered beneath. We request a full investigation and immediate search operations. A Vin counselor, its 3 eyes blinking in an unsettling rhythm, emitted a sound like grinding stones. The translator rendered it as laughter. Space is perilous, human. Surely your species grasps this by now. We understand it perfectly, Chen replied coldly. What we don't understand is your refusal to assist. The outer veil is vast, replied another, an immense crystalline entity whose body refracted light like broken glass. Ships vanish. It is regrettable but inevitable. Chen activated a holographic projection. 3 months after Pathfinder vanished, we lost contact with UES Horizon's Edge, Mission 9. 424 souls. Same sector. Same pattern. No distress call, no debris, nothing. The chamber fell silent. Not with alarm or sympathy, but apathy. 2 colony ships, Chen pressed on, her voice rising. Families, scientists, children, nearly 3,000 humans gone without a trace. And you call that normal? Yes, the Vin replied without pause. You are a young race, Ambassador. You will learn the galaxy is not as gentle as your cradle systems. Perhaps your kind should reconsider venturing so far. Chen's fists clenched before she forced them open. We are submitting a formal request for council assistance in search and rescue. Denied, declared the presiding voice. The Council cannot devote resources to every lost vessel, especially for newer member species. That word, newer, cut like a blade. It meant lesser. It meant unworthy. Chen exited with her head high, though her heart fractured within her chest. Beneath Geneva, in a sealed command bunker, Admiral Koff reviewed the same data Chen had once held. Admiral Koff had seen the same report Chen presented. But she had more, data the Council never requested. Information they didn't care to notice. Show me the pattern, Koff said to the AI analyst beside her. The holographic star map reconfigured, red markers pulsing across the expanse of the outer veil. Each dot marked a lost ship. The AI zoomed in, overlaying new data, 14 more disappearances, all involving smaller species, all dismissed by the Council as acceptable losses over the last century. They've been ignoring this for 100 years. The analyst murmured. This isn't random, Admiral. The coordinates line up too neatly. These ships were taken. Koff's jaw flexed. She summoned the passenger manifest for the Pathfinder. Faces drifted by in spectral light. Young faces. Sarah Chen, age 7. Marcus Williams, age 4. Emma Rodriguez, age 9. Not explorers. Not settlers. Families. Children who would never see another dawn. Get me everything on the species operating in that region, Koff ordered. Trade routes, fleet paths, military presence, everything. Admiral, the analyst said softly, the Council told us to stand down. Koff's eyes hardened. The Council can go to hell. Those are our people out there. Lieutenant Park appeared at the doorway. Ma'am, there's something else. Intelligence reports chatter, smaller species whispering. They say the Council knows what happens in the outer veil. They say it's been going on for generations. That it's how things work. How things work, Koff echoed bitterly. They're saying the strong devour the weak while the Council turns away, and always has. She rose, chair scraping against the floor. Open an encrypted line to President Amati, then wake everyone in special projects. Initiate contingency Omega. Ma'am, that's the war protocol. I know exactly what it is, Lieutenant. 3 days later, Ambassador Chen received a message from Geneva. It was brief, stark, and world-shifting. Come home, Ambassador. We're done playing by their rules. Chen packed her belongings in silence. As she walked the shining corridors of the council station, she passed alien merchants haggling, diplomats laughing, families from powerful races strolling safely beneath the protection of their fleets. She thought of Sarah Chen, Marcus Williams, Emma Rodriguez, children who had no protection, who were considered expendable. At the docking bay, Chen paused to look back. The station was magnificent, towers of light and metal, a monument to civilization. But now she saw the truth. It stood on a graveyard, the bones of the weak, the forgotten. Never again, she whispered. Her ship turned toward Earth and burned for home. Behind her, the galaxy spun on, blissfully unaware that something irreversible had begun. Humanity had waited, obeyed, trusted, but the system had failed them. And humanity neither forgot nor forgave. On the council station, the VIN counselor reviewed his daily reports. The human ambassador's petition was logged and archived. Resolved. No further action required. Just another forgotten complaint from another disposable species. He never noticed the human surveillance satellite silently hovering beyond the station's sensors. He never saw the encrypted burst it sent to Earth. He never realized that human intelligence was already recording every meeting, every deal, every secret the council thought buried. He deactivated his displays and drifted to sleep, comfortable in his power, secure in his order. He had no idea his world was about to burn. Far away, Captain Sarah Okonkwo stared into the starless dark of the outer veil. For 3 months, she had been hunting, following the coordinates Earth intelligence had quietly pieced together from the silence. The stolen council data told a story no one was meant to see. The Galactic Council had warned Earth to stay away. Earth sent her anyway. Captain Sarah Okonkwo's vessel, the Silent Arrow, didn't officially exist. No registry, no transponder, no trace. As far as the galaxy knew, neither did the 7 stealth ships moving in formation beside her. "Contact," her sensor officer reported. "Debris field. Matches Pathfinder's last known position." Okonkwo leaned forward. "Take us in slow. Eyes open for traps." The scene was worse than she'd imagined. Fragments of hull drifted like ghosts in the void. A cracked child's toy floated past the viewport. A corridor section, still holding family photos magnetically pinned to the wall, turned lazily in the dark. Someone's whole life scattered across 1,000 kilometers of nothing. "Captain, we have the black box," came the recovery report. "It's damaged, but engineering says they can pull the logs." "Do it. Keep scanning. I want both ships accounted for." They found Horizon's Edge 2 days later, 3 light hours away. The wreckage was worse, ripped apart with surgical precision. These weren't meteor impacts. These were weapons. Okonkwo stood in the recovered medical bay of the Pathfinder. Burn scars marred the walls. A child's drawing, shielded by a cabinet's shadow, showed a family beneath a foreign sun, a dream that would never come true. "Captain, you need to hear this," her comms officer said. The black box playback crackled with static, but fragments survived. A young woman's voice, trembling but firm. "Unknown vessels approaching. 3 of them. They're not answering hails. Wait, I see their markings. They're Kryn sovereignty ships. Why would they—" Static. Then, another burst minutes later. "They're firing on us! We're a colony ship! We have children aboard. Please, someone—" Silence. Forever. Okonkwo's stomach turned. The Kryn sovereignty. Founding council members, champions of order and law. "Get me everything we have on the Kryn," she ordered. "Trade logs, fleet positions, everything. And send that recording to Earth. Encrypted, priority alpha." The data told a grim truth. For 2 centuries, Kryn ships had prowled the outer veil, unreported, unexplained. Smaller races vanished. No records, no accountability. Earth's analysts dug deeper. They unearthed erased archives, buried reports. But humans had learned long ago, nothing was ever truly deleted. Piece by piece, the truth emerged. The outer veil was a hunting ground. The powerful preyed on the powerless, stealing resources, technology, people, for experiments, for slavery, for amusement. The Kryn had taken humanity's colonists because they were new, untested, genetically diverse, and interesting. Nearly 3,000 souls abducted like lab specimens. Admiral Koff reviewed the report in silence, her expression carved from iron. Then she forwarded it to President Ahmadi with a single message. We have proof. The UN convened an emergency session. Every nation sent a delegate. The chamber, usually filled with debate, was hushed as the evidence played. We will take this to the Galactic Council, said the president. We will give them one last chance to make it right. A month later, Ambassador Chen walked back into the council chamber. The recordings played, black box fragments, weapon traces, Kryn flight data, all of it undeniable. The Kryn ambassador watched impassively. When it ended, he rose. This is regrettable, he said smoothly. Some of our vessels may have acted beyond authority. We offer reparations, 10,000 credits per victim. More than generous, Chen stared at him. 10,000 credits? You're putting a price on lives? We are offering compensation for an accident. That wasn't an accident, she said, voice shaking. You hunted them. You killed them. You took them. The Kryn smiled faintly. Ambassador, you must understand. This is how the galaxy operates. Resources flow from the weak to the strong. Your species is young, fragile. You will learn your place as all do. The council voted. Censure for the Kryn. A statement of disapproval. Nothing more. No punishment. No justice. They were children, Chen whispered. 7-year-olds? 4-year-olds? And you think credits make it acceptable? The lead counselor spoke with cool disdain. You should be grateful we acknowledged it at all. Many species receive far less. Chen looked at the chamber. The 400 civilizations that had just declared humanity's lives worthless. I see, she said quietly. Thank you for clarifying. Her hands shook as she sent her final transmission to Earth. They don't. They do not care. They never will. There is no justice here, only power. They think we are weak because we chose peace. They assume we will accept this because we lack the strength to resist. Admiral Koff read the dossier. Then she opened the sealed file she had compiled over months. Contingency Omega. The plan they had hoped would remain unused. She called President Ahmadi. Sir, it's time. The president looked older, worn thin by duty. Are you certain? Once we begin, we cannot turn back. The galaxy will never see us the same way. They took our children, sir. They laughed when we asked for justice. If we accept this humiliation, we signal that it can happen again, to us or to any species too small to retaliate. How many other peoples have lost their young to these predators? The president was silent for a long minute. Then he nodded. Prepare the fleets. Draft the ultimatum. God forgive us. God already knows why, Koff replied. Let us teach the galaxy a lesson it will not forget. 48 hours later, the message went out. Unambiguous, uncompromising. Return every surviving human. Surrender any ship or commander involved in the assaults. Submit to investigations and public trials. You have 72 standard hours. After that, alternative measures will commence. The Galactic Council read the demand in their vaulted chamber. For several breaths, there was nothing. Then the Vin counselor laughed, low and contemptuous. Others followed. War, he said. The humans threaten war against the entire membership? Another delegate snorted. A crystalline ambassador smiled thinly. Let them come. Their fleets number barely 3,000 hulls. We will crush them inside a single rotation and restore proper order. The council's reply was terse and scornful. Rejected. Your demands are absurd. Accept your place or face annihilation. On Earth, Admiral Koff watched the countdown, hours, minutes, seconds, tick toward oblivion. When the clock hit 0, she gave the command the world had feared and prepared for since first contact revealed we were not alone. Operation Ragnarok is authorized. All fleets execute. Show them what happens when you take our children. Across human-claimed space, ships that had been silent for years powered up. Vessels. The galaxy had never catalogued slid from hidden yards and deep underground docks. Ships engineered in secrecy, forged by a species that had spent 10,000 years refining the craft of killing its own. The galaxy would learn that humanity's deepest longing was for peace, and its deadliest talent was war. The first Kryn defense array died before any alarm could finish its warning. A railgun projectile moving at a fraction of light struck the station squarely. The installation vanished, no explosion, only a bloom of superheated plasma and twisting wreckage. 46 more arrays followed within 12 minutes. Across Kryn territory, fortresses and platforms that had weathered centuries blinked out in sudden white fire. By the time Kryn Command understood what had occurred, they were under attack, and they had already lost. Admiral Koff watched the tactical display glow across Earth's orbital command. Green icons marked human fleets. Red marked the enemy. The reds were vanishing faster than the Kryn could count. "Status," she ordered. "First wave complete," her tactical officer replied. "All primary targets destroyed. Enemy communications crippled. Fleet advancing to Phase 2. Casualties? None, ma'am. They never saw us coming." Koff allowed herself a grim smile. 83 years. That was how long humanity had played the fool in the galactic community. Acting weak, hiding strength, learning everything while revealing nothing. The galaxy believed humanity owned 3,000 ships. They were wrong. In secret shipyards buried in asteroids and moons, humanity had built 30,000, crafted for one purpose: to win. On the Kryn homeworld, alarms screamed. High Command scrambled, blind to what struck them. Their sensors showed human ships appearing from nowhere, moving faster than physics should allow, firing weapons that bypassed shields entirely. "How did they get so close?" the fleet marshal roared. No one knew. Humanity's stealth was centuries beyond galactic science. The Kryn launched 2,000 warships, the pride of their empire, against what appeared to be 500 human vessels. It should have been a slaughter, but not the way they imagined. Human ships danced through fire with impossible precision, accelerating at forces that would liquefy any other crew. But humans had evolved under crushing gravity. They were born for this. They didn't fight in lines or formations. They swarmed, independent, unpredictable, perfectly synchronized. At their core, an AI named Guardian predicted every enemy move before it happened. "They're everywhere!" a Kryn commander screamed. His ship was cut in half 3 seconds later by a particle beam. The Battle of Kryn Prime lasted 14 hours. When it ended, the Kryn Navy was gone, 90% destroyed. Humanity lost 17 ships. Across the stars, the galaxy trembled. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. "This is madness!" the Vin counselor cried. "The humans have gone insane! Mobilize all fleets now!" 3 species agreed and sent their armadas to aid the Kryn. Okonkwo met the first reinforcement fleet in the silent void between stars. Her stealth ships had waited for days, motionless, unseen, patient. When the enemy dropped from faster than light, they were already surrounded. "Broadcast the recording," Okonkwo ordered. Across every hostile vessel, the footage from Pathfinder's black box played. Children screaming as Kryn weapons tore through steel. Parents shielding their families with their bodies. The captain's final plea for mercy unanswered. "This is what they did," Okonkwo's voice echoed. "This is why we are here. This is justice." Her fleet opened fire. The enemy tried to respond, but they were slow, trapped in doctrine centuries old. Humanity had studied war since it learned to walk upright. They had practiced it upon themselves for millennia. Now that knowledge burned the stars. One by one, the enemy ships went silent. On Earth, President Amati spoke to every screen, every language, every soul. "My fellow humans, today we are at war. Not one we wanted, but one we will win. For 83 years we followed their laws, showed respect, sought peace. And when our children were taken, they laughed. They told us to accept it, to know our place." His voice hardened. "They mistook our peace for weakness, our patience for fear. They forgot we come from a world where only the strong survived, where we fought ice and beasts and each other. When family is threatened, humanity protects its own." Panic swept the Galactic Council. Half the species withdrew. The rest argued. "They are one species," the Vin counselor insisted. "We number in the trillions." Then new data filled the chamber. 92 simultaneous human strikes. Every government complicit in the cover-up burned. No invasions. No occupations. Just fire and ruin where corruption had thrived. Deep in Kryn space, human special forces found the unthinkable, 847 survivors. The lost colonists of Pathfinder taken for experiments and amusement. Sarah Chen, age 7, stared blankly from her cage. "We've got you, sweetheart," a soldier whispered, lifting her gently. "You're safe now." Behind him, another soldier executed the Kryn commander. No trial, no mercy. The footage went galactic. The cages, the vivisections, the children. "This," said Ambassador Chen to the council, "is what you allowed." One by one, the Kryn's allies abandoned them. Alone, desperate, the sovereignty begged for peace. "We surrender," came the message. Admiral Koff replied with 2 words, "Unconditional only." The siege of Sanctuary Station lasted 3 days. The hidden outpost had no record, no flag. But humanity found it. Okonkwo's fleet surrounded the moon's orbit. "You have 1 hour to surrender," she broadcast. "Harm the prisoners, and we will hunt you to extinction." 53 minutes later, airlocks opened. Marines stormed inside, labs, cages, restrained test subjects from dozens of races. Lieutenant Park found 17 human children, the last of Pathfinder's crew. "It's okay," he whispered. "You're going home." A girl stared, trembling. "Are you real? They said no one would come." "We're real, and you were never forgotten." When the Kryn commander sneered about rights, Okonkwo drew her pistol. "Did they have rights?" she asked, gesturing to the children. "1 shot, 1 corpse. The execution was broadcast galaxy-wide. Some called it murder, others justice. Humanity called it a warning. 23 days had passed. The Kryn lay in ruins. 3 allied powers crippled. The council chamber abandoned. But humanity wasn't done. Intelligence exposed the full rot, centuries of predation, thousands of vanished innocents. President Ahmadi faced the United Nations. "We could stop now," he said. "The Kryn are defeated. Justice for our dead is done." He paused. "But if we stop, this will happen again, to others, maybe to us. The system is rotten. It must be rebuilt. We fight not for conquest, but for justice. For every species betrayed by this corruption. Are we the kind who turn away?" The vote was unanimous. The war would continue until the galaxy was safe for all, and humanity began to appear everywhere, not to conquer, but to cleanse. The stars, people remembered that moment. Humanity had not fought for vengeance or empire, but for meaning, to prove that compassion could wield the same power as fear. Human ships now moved not to conquer worlds, but to free those trapped within them. Everywhere they went, they found victims, evidence of centuries of cruelty buried under silence. Entire species reunited with those thought lost. The rescuers asked for nothing in return, only the quiet knowledge that justice had finally come. The smallest nations of the galaxy watched in awe. For the first time in memory, someone fought for them. Not for territory, not for tribute, but simply because it was right. The tide shifted. The voiceless began to speak. Stories poured out of vanishing ships, stolen kin, forgotten colonies. Proof mounted until even the powerful could no longer deny the truth. The old Galactic Council fractured. Members fled one by one, ashamed or afraid. In the shattered remains of the Kryn capital, the War Crimes Tribunal convened, open to all, visible to all. Testimonies from the broken filled the airwaves. 127 Kryn officials were found guilty. They faced the firing squad with no ceremony. Thousands more were imprisoned. The Kryn sovereignty ceased to exist. Its systems placed under joint protection by a coalition of species, humans among them, but never above them. Admiral Koff watched the executions from orbit. Her XO whispered, "It's done." "No," she said quietly. "This part is done. Now comes the hard part, building something better." Across the stars, hundreds of species gathered on a neutral world. Not the corrupted council hall of old, but a clean place, a new beginning. Ambassador Chen entered the chamber, no longer the ignored voice who once begged for justice, but the representative of a people who had shaken the stars. "We are here," she said, "to build a new order, one founded on law, on truth, and the belief that no species has the right to prey upon another. The strong will not rule the weak." "That ends today," a small avian delegate asked, trembling. "Why do you care? You are strong now. You could take what you wish." Chen met her gaze. Because we remember being weak, pleading for help that never came, mourning our children while others looked away. We remember, and we will not let it happen again. Not to us. Not to anyone. A reptilian ambassador rumbled. Protection becomes control. How do we know you won't be the next tyrants? You don't, Chen said. You'll have to trust our actions. We freed your people. We made the trials public. We do not seek to rule, only to make it fair. Debate raged for days, anger, fear, and hope intertwined, until at last something new was born, the Concordant of Free Species. A union built on equality, justice, and mutual defense. Humanity offered its fleets not as rulers but as guardians. We are not conquerors, President Ahmadi declared at the first session. We are protectors. There is a difference. The galaxy changed. The old empires faded. The small found their voices. Humanity stood watch, silent and ready, ensuring the darkness never returned. On Earth, in a quiet hospital room, Sarah Chen sat with her family. She was 8 now, the pain still living behind her eyes. A reporter asked softly, "What do you think of the war?" Sarah hesitated. "They came for us," she said. "Everyone said they wouldn't, that we were lost. But they came. Does that make it better?" the reporter asked. Sarah thought, then nodded faintly. It makes it mean something, and across the stars that meaning endured. To remember, and help us make sure it never happens again. The Quillen bowed deeply, a gesture of profound respect among their kind. "We will," she said softly. "We will remember the light that came from the dark." Across the stars, the new Concord had flourished. Worlds once enslaved, now rebuilt in freedom. Old enemies shared trade routes and diplomatic embassies. It was fragile, yes, but real. Humanity had not forged an empire. It had built a shield. The fleets that patrolled the void were not conquerors, but guardians, standing watch over the fragile peace they had bled for. Ambassador Chen continued her work, helping draft the Charter of Sentient Rights, a document signed by more than 200 species, guaranteeing freedom from exploitation. For the first time in galactic history, law and morality aligned. Still, there were whispers in the shadows. Remnants of the old powers plotted, fearful of humanity's strength. But they plotted quietly. The memory of Earth's wrath was carved into every orbit scarred by orbital bombardment. Every wreck drifting in the void, a silent reminder that peace was not free. One evening, Chen visited the memorial again. Thousands of visitors floated nearby in small observation pods, silent in reverence. She placed a small flower, grown from soil taken from Mars, against the glass. It drifted weightlessly, reflecting starlight. "Rest well," she whispered. We kept our promise. Far above, a formation of human ships passed in perfect silence, silver, graceful, unyielding. Their lights shimmered against the memorial sphere like distant candles in a dark cathedral. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy was no longer ruled by fear of predators, but by the memory of those who refused to be prey. And among the endless stars, humanity watched, remembered, and stood ready.